Hello there, thank you for staying with us and welcome to another edition of Channels Beam. I'm Victor Matthias. Now, girls are leaders, girls are change makers, girls are driving good and growth around the world. They are a fundamental source of transformational change for gender equality, and technology is a crucial tool to support their work, their activism, and their leadership. So today on the program, we will focus on the theme of the International Day of the Girl Child, that is digital generation, our generation, as the UN seeks to ensure equal access to the internet and digital devices for girls and targeted investments to facilitate opportunities for girls to design technology. And joining us today to look at this from our Abuja studio, we have Farida Yahaya. She is the founder of the Brief Academy, a learning hub dedicated to developing and supporting female-owned startups to achieve wealth and scalability. We also have Grace Atta. Her interests revolve around women, technology, vulnerable groups, and organizational development. She is currently the business development and partnerships lead at TechHer NG. It's a pleasure to have both of you on the show today. But we also have joining us via Zoom, Adeze Sokon. She is currently the country director for the UK Nigeria Tech Hub. The UK Nigeria Tech Hub is responsible for supporting the growth of sustainable digital ecosystems in Nigeria through the development of high-end skills, supporting startup growth and development, as well as facilitating linkages, partnerships between the UK and Nigeria. It's a pleasure to have you on the program today, Adeze.
It's great to be here. I hope you can hear me okay.
Yes, please, we can hear you. All right, this kicks out the conversation for us. Let's first of all look at what the UK Nigeria Tech Hub is doing, the programs that there are in the hub, to ensure that girls have access, to internet, to support, and to tech devices.
Okay, great. So first of all, I'm truly happy to be on the show today and at a special time to commemorate the value of the girl child. The UK government's Digital Access Program initiative in Nigeria is the effort to promote digital inclusion and safe use of the internet. So it stands on three pillars. The first pillar is making sure that everyone has broadband access. So there's a lot of regulatory policy initiatives that are being driven to ensure that internet is affordable and accessible. Then the second pillar is around cybersecurity. As people go online, that they are cyber conscious and they are safe. So a lot of cybersecurity policies to ensure that people are safe, especially girls who are more susceptible to cyber threats and bullying. So there's a lot of cybersecurity program initiatives to protect people online. And then the last one is the Tech Hub, which is why I'm here. And we've done a couple of programs to support girls. Two stand out. The first is development placement programs where we train and support female software engineers. We build a capacity in advanced tech and then place them in companies. One that is worthy of note is a code camp, which trained lots of girls in digital skill sets to take on careers in tech. So full stack engineering and all the interesting tech occupations. So far. The second is the Future Females Business School, which empowers females to build businesses and start up companies in tech.
Okay. So I mean, all right, out of the two that you've done, are there any of the participants or those who, were able to get into these programs, any of them who stand out at the moment?
Yes, we have a couple of them. There's a lady called Shulamite Joyful John. She's the founder of FemCode, which is based in Abia State, a virtual IT company which has a vision of educating and empowering women across Africa with on-demand tech skills without them having to leave the comfort of their home. So providing more tech skills to more women across Africa. There is the founder of Fashion City, based in Lagos, who provides this video on demand platform for African fashion creatives who desire fast, easy, affordable access to fashion video courses so that they could create fashion businesses. We have FarmSpeak Technology in Ibadan. FarmSpeak is an agri-tech startup that equips farmers with the technological tools and devices to improve their productivity on the firm. And we have Faith Ademosowo, who is the founder of Social Lender, a digital finance, a digital free tech company that provides credits, savings and leases, facilitates credit savings and leases for different individuals. So we have a couple of female tech founders who are really building interesting startups that people should look out for.
All right, so let's look at those who are yet to, become founders. I mean, what's the follow-up mechanism? I mean, in terms of maybe financial support, in terms of mentorship, and collaborations. What's in store for people like those who are coming behind?
The tech ecosystem in Nigeria is really buzzing, and beyond what the UK Tech Hub is doing, there are lots of interesting partners and local actors that are doing great stuff in tech. So for us at the UK Tech Hub, we usually have a network. So everyone who has gone through a program or even tried to get in and couldn't get in, they are put in a network where they get updates on upcoming programs, opportunities within the UK Tech Hub and even outside of the UK Tech Hub. They also have access to mentors, those who have done successfully well in tech, existing startup founders and experienced startup founders, to guide them through as they aspire to become founders as well. So we have that mentor network, we have newsletters. If you follow us on Instagram or on LinkedIn, you should get access to all of the opportunities that the Tech Hub provides. Right. And that way they can get access to mentoring and coaching and ideas to help them build great companies.
All right, we can't wait for those great companies to be built by women, in Nigeria. But I'd like to say thank you to you, Adeze Sokon, for joining us today on the program via Zoom. You are the director for the UK Nigeria Tech Hub.
Right. Thank you.
Of course, you're welcome. Well, let's turn to our Abuja studio, where we also have two female techpreneurs, Farida Yahaya as well as Grace Atta. But Grace, kicks out this conversation for us. Let's look at even the divide, the gender divide that exists at the moment, in the tech ecosystem. What's the percentage? What are the numbers?
Okay, so thank you so much. Obviously, there is a tech divide, as you have mentioned. For instance, in Nigeria, we have about 208 million people as citizens of Nigeria. Out of this number, we have 104 million people who have access to the internet. And so this only means that only 50%, or the internet penetration rate in Nigeria is at 50% as at 2001. And so this means that only 5 in 10 people in Nigeria have access to the internet. And so this is alarming enough. We always know that women are always at the receiving end, especially when it comes to the use of technology. And so also in Nigeria, we see that according to a recent report that was released, we see that the number of female graduating STEM courses in Nigeria was at 22% in 2001. And this is something that has been reoccurring. This is something that has happened year in and year out. And so we also have the literacy rate amongst women. So I'm bringing all these facts together. So we have the literacy rate among women in rural area at 35%. And so this shows that there is a huge digital divide. So, yeah.
So what can be done to bridge this divide?
So basically, I think this is where we come in as a civil society organization. And I'm not just going to be talking about the work of the civil society organization in bridging this divide. There's also the part that the government has to play. There's also the part that private organizations have to play. For instance, at TechHam, we are basically concerned about demystifying technology for women and girls, and basically just creating a bridge between technology and women. And so we have done this in recent time through our School Talk project, an initiative of ours that just sought to bridge the digital divide. especially in peri-urban areas. Those are rural areas in Nigeria. So, for instance, our school tour project basically aims to do 3 things. And number 1, just to equip young girls in peri-urban areas with digital literacy skills. Number 2, to teach these young girls how they can be safe online, especially because there are a lot of harmful things online these days, but people do not know or do not have enough knowledge to go online, or enough sufficient knowledge to be able to go online and be safe online. And so this is one of the things that we aim to do with our school tour project. Also, we also have tech skills or tech careers for girls. For instance, there are a lot of careers, especially very lucrative careers out there that girls do not know about. People in general do not even know about, especially girls. So, so what we seek to do, or what we sought to do with the school tour project, was to just to bring people up to speed with the various careers available in tech. And so this is we now, a civil society organization. I've seen several other civil society organizations work in this area. For instance, I attended a meeting some time ago, and I saw how that girls were coding, girls were creating really, really cool stuff, tech stuff, and it was really, really wowing for me.
I can imagine how wowing it is for you, because I am just feeling really excited with all of these things you're saying. I'm getting wowed myself as well. But let me just hold you there for a bit. Let me quickly get to hear from Farida, who is sitting, of course, next to you in our Abuja studio. Farida, I mean, she has gone to talk about those who pretty much are not even aware of what is going on in the tech world. But we have some women, who are in business, who, have one endeavor or the other they're doing, and they need to just put themselves out there, on the internet to ensure that, people see what they're doing. What can be done to help, or what is being done to help people like that, to put themselves out there, using all of the tools and materials that are available?
Thank you so much for your question, Victor. And it's very exciting to be here having this conversation today on this, marking this special occasion. And like you have said, I think a lot needs to be done, but the first thing would be PPP, which is public-private partnership. We need all hands on deck. All stakeholders need to come on deck and not just work together, but also make sure that there's no competing goals or competing values. One of the things I'm really happy about to see when it comes to, trying to shift the table a bit is actually looking at the different costs of internet, which is a big issue for a lot of women who have, micro and small scale businesses. Another thing is also looking at the policies that we have through a gender lens, right? When you look at trade, when you look at internet, when you look at the way that we are actually conducting business now in the COVID-19 era, a lot of people have been pushed online. And most of the time, they don't have the soft skills to be able to really maximize, what is in front of them. So, again, like I said, PPP is the major thing that I think needs to be done. And I want to, at this point, highlight a few that I've seen that I feel like are doing amazingly well. The first one is the Future Females, like Adeze just mentioned. I have seen a lot of growth with that. I know that there are a lot of hubs also springing up in Kano, in Katsina, and even in Kaduna that are really trying to help the businesses that are there to be able to really, maximize the resources that are available to them. I know also the federal government under the Ministry of Communications has launched the Digital Girls Club across secondary schools in Nigeria. And this is really doing very well, especially in most parts of the north. So I'm really excited to see how this can really help. Because if the cost of internet is high, it doesn't matter the percentage of the penetration, people will still not be able to access it, right? Yeah. And so the conversation needs to start from how do we ensure that people are actually able to even have these conversations online and maximize it for their businesses and for their lives, because technology is actually designed to be an enabler, right? It's not supposed to just take over. It's supposed to enable the work that you're already doing offline. Yeah. So I feel like these are some of the ways that we can, help these women to come online and really maximize the resources that they have.
All right, so it's good you're bringing up all of this. So we'll take a quick break. Just hold your thoughts. We'll take a quick break, and of course, when we come back, we'll look at more solutions on, how to get women maximize the boundless opportunities, that are there in the use of technology. We'll take a quick break, and we're back in a moment. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. We still have with us our panelists in our Abuja studio, Farida Yahaya, as well as Grace Atta. So just before we went on the break, Farida, you were talking about, some of those things that can be done, and you talked about, the PPP, the private-public partnerships. And, I'm just beginning to think, before now we've seen where young people and, the older generation have come together, to achieve, a common goal. I'm talking about, the Not Too Young to Run bill, which is now, in place. So, if you're talking about this kind of partnerships, who would you be pointing at, to make this partnerships happen?
Yeah, like I mentioned, Victor, I feel like it needs to be all hands on deck. And it's really wonderful that you highlighted Yiaga Africa, because they have a very diverse network that I feel like would really work with this as well. However, like I mentioned, it's not just people. So when I look at private partners, for example, I'm looking at people like the World Bank. I'm looking at people that are, international NGOs that are working in Nigeria, which they already have certain programs that are really working very well, right? Like the Equal Access, where they teach IDP. They go to IDP camps to actually create a hub there and teach the girls how to code and, so many other digital skills. And it's really amazing to see. However, my worry is that most of this progress is done in pockets, right? And I feel like if you want to really make a very significant change and impact, and you want it to be sustainable, then you need to look at how you can bring a community and grow it even further. A very beautiful example is what is happening in Lagos, right? 10 years ago, we did not have companies like Paystack and Flutterwave coming out of Africa or even Lagos. But now, because the community has been able to grow to that level, right, we actually have those kind of companies. So I believe that we need to come together, not just work in pockets, but actually come together. And my worry really is for most of the places where, we're just recovering and rebuilding from insurgency. I'm talking about places like Maiduguri. I'm talking about places like Yola, right? I'm talking about places like
sorry to button. I don't know if you've heard about the Northeast Innovation Hub. Have you followed any of their programs?
Yes, I was going to mention it. Yes, I was actually going to mention it, right? Which is a beautiful partnership. However, what I'm worried about is, like I said, when people don't have access to the hub, then they're not able to get the internet that they need. If you are not one of the people that is living in the city, right, in Yola town, then you will not have access to the hub, right? So these are genuine concerns that I feel like when we work with local partners, we would be able to bridge the gap.
All right, let me also get, your own take. That's Grace. Let me get your own take, on moving forward, talking about partnerships. Already, you talked about what, you're doing at TechHa, and, you also talked about, what you think the government should be doing. But let's also look at partnerships and, and moving forward. Who should be in the business of partnering, who should partner, to bridge the gap that exists at the moment?
All right, so considering the kind of work we do, partnership will involve the government, private stakeholders. For instance, one of the major problems with technology or the reach of technology these days has been access to technology. So for instance, we have the tools, we have everything we need to impact into girls in schools. We take up capacity buildings to the girls. However, we get to these schools, there are no internet. There are no devices, especially in school. And so this is where government and private partnership comes in. And so it's very important to have the internet working in all areas, including rural areas. And when I talk about the government, I'm talking about having, for instance, especially in schools, having the basic infrastructure, tech infrastructure in all schools. There are schools in Nigeria that do not have computer labs. There are schools in Nigeria that do not have computer teachers. And so it is really, really, really alarming. And so this is where partnership comes in for me.
All right. So you know, in between you and Farida, I honestly, you know, talking about partnerships. I mean, this is me just thinking, you know, out of the box, and I don't know if something you might want to, you know, look into, you know, moving forward. You know, I'm looking at, you know, like Google just announced that it's going to invest about $1 billion, you know, in Africa over the next 5 years. So I think these are companies that you should be looking at, or we all should be looking at partnering with. You know, speaking about schools who do not have basic computer labs, you know, I think that partnership, of course, yes, with government, but also with maybe say ISPs and all of that who can, in their CSR, you know, provide these things. But I mean, you tell me, are these, you know, some of those places that you would be looking into moving forward?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Oh, definitely. I think it's already happening because, you know, we have the Google Women Tech Makers, which is very vibrant in Kano and Abuja as well. There's also the Tech Stars, where there was a weekend event I know that I was a part of just this past weekend. So these partnerships are already happening, right? And it's very beautiful to see. However, like I said, we need to consolidate on these gains just so that we can amplify the impact beyond just the urban areas.
So now, also, one of the things that you both raised is the fact that, you know, those devices are not even available. Like, if they are challenged enough not to be able to afford data, I mean, the devices, how do we get the devices in the palms of these women and girls?
So with the devices, I think the devices are actually at different price points, which is really good. So I'll give you an example with the Girl Effect program, which was done, you know, through PPP, like I mentioned earlier in Kano, and it gave girls access to, you know, an affordable smartphone that allowed them to be able to collect data and actually share data about, you know, what is happening in their communities, right? So the devices are not necessarily the challenge here because, like I said, they come at different price points. And one of the things that is happening now is that we have more and more Nigerian companies looking to actually start producing these devices. So that is such a welcome development as well. So it brings down the market prices. However, if I have the device and I do not have the access to the technology that I need to be able to run the device day to day, then I would not really find that it is useful for me.
Well, I think on that, I would have to agree with you. But so I also think that, you know, more trainings, perhaps, you know, when the devices become available, you know, would be key in ensuring that, you know, those tools that they need, you know, to run the devices perfectly or as they should would also come in handy when that time comes. But Grace, let me also, you know, get to hear from you. You know, in all the work that, you know, you've been doing, you know, pretty much with TECA and all of that, you know, what has been the results now, so to speak? I know earlier on you talked about how it has wowed you, but, you know, is there like a follow-up mechanism to see how they're doing after the programs you do?
Yes, of course. So, like I mentioned earlier, one of the issues we found during our school tour project, which happened in 2019, was the lack or total access to digital devices. And so what we were able to do with that was to gamify the whole process. So we created playing cards for these children. Yeah. And so it just created a mechanism or a way for children to be able to play and learn at the same time. And so this has gone a very, very long way to help in the way children in peri-urban areas are able to assimilate. And so this is something we have been able to do pending when internet is being provided in those schools, pending when they have the sufficient infrastructure to work in the school.
Okay, so let's hope, you know, all of this, you know, would, you know, at the tail end of everything, you know, encourage more women to, you know, get online, be on the internet, build startups, build companies, build applications, you know, that will change the face of Nigeria and even the face of the world at large. But I have to say thank you to you, Grace Atta, as well as Farida Yahaya. I have to say thank you to both of you for joining us today on the program, you know, and sharing your thoughts on this very special day.
Thank you for having us, Victor.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. And that's the program today, but we'll leave you with the movie videos on our YouTube channel in the past week. Thank you for watching. I'm Victor Matthias.
Kicking off this week's most viewed videos is the governor of Ebonyi State resisting the call by IPOB to residents of the southeast to sit at home.
If IPOB does not fail to stop and call their people to order and to stop the threats and the killings and all the stuff, that other groups will rise up to counter it. But there's no way Southeast will be grounded. There's no way Southeast will be sitting at home while other part of the country, will be doing businesses. And whereas we are the people that should actually be moving, because we earn our living by moving.
It is followed in fourth place by the confession of kidnapped suspects that army uniforms make the operations easy.
It was his master, Lawali, that gave him the uniform, but his AKA name is Kajere.
Well, all you heard from him is just the tip of the iceberg.
Losing the top spot from last week and falling to third is the arrest of a fake soldier with an AK-49 rifle and 60 other suspects in Nasarawa State. In second is a parade by military and paramilitary personnel to mark Nigeria's 61st anniversary celebration. While Senator Abaribe's exclusive interview with Channels Television, where he disclosed his position on national security, separatist agitation in the southeast and 2023 presidency, takes top spot this week.
Everybody complaining about injustice, everybody complaining about marginalization, everybody complaining about the rampant nepotism, everybody complaining. So I stand with my people.